Okay guys, just a quick video on extended shutdown periods for your DTF. So if you're going away over the Christmas period, then you probably want to take quite good notice of this. So what we're going to do is when we're going away at Christmas time, if we're shutting the machine down for 2-3 weeks, we want to keep our heads in tip-top condition. So the first step is different machines and different models will have these in different positions, but if you've got the ink clamp lines, they could be at the back of the machine, and then sometimes they are also in the front of the machine, and then sometimes they're actually in both. So anyway, the clamps are at the back of the line. If you haven't seen these before, these just clip in and will clamp off the line. You can see now that the clamp has now clamped that line off. Now that's just going to stop any ink flowing through the line. So that's the first step. Close them off, and then what we want to do is do a normal shutdown procedure by putting the moisturizing fluid into the top of the cap tops. Now that is a suggested shutdown procedure for over the Christmas period, if it's going to be 1 or 2 weeks. If you've got an extended time and you want to be a little bit more sure about keeping your heads in tip-top condition, then we can go one step further. So if you're going away for 3-4 weeks, or you're not going to have you're not going to be running the machine for an extended longer period, or if you're going on holidays, etc., what we'll do is we'll take it to the next level. So we're going to still clamp that line off wherever it is, front and back. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a little Ziploc bag. You can get them from the supermarket. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the dampers, the dampers out of the head, and we're just going to put them into there. So if they do leak, they just leak into a plastic bag. Then the next step we're going to do is we're going to get one of our syringes, and we're going to fill it up with the cleaning and moisturizing solution. Now this is already filled with that solution. The next step I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach that to the top of the head, and then from there I'm actually going to syringe that through the head, and that's going to then flush out any ink that's inside the head. Once I do that, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to then take the syringe back to the top, put it back on without any fluid on, and I'm going to then syringe through until there's no more spray. You can see a little bit of spray coming out the bottom, but I would suggest you do this 2 or 3 times with just air, and then what that'll do is that'll actually push all the excess ink out of each individual channel. So it basically means that nothing can dry up because you're actually filling it, you're actually pushing out the excess ink through the actual head channel. So the head can't dry up if there's nothing in there. The important things to remember is once you've done this, you would still move your head over to the left like we would normally do on a daily maintenance. We would still use our moisturizing solution. Now the excess ink that we've just pushed through might be in the top of that cap top, so you can gently just soak up any of the remnants of the ink, give it a bit of a clean around the seals, and then you would actually fill this up just as normal with the solution, and this will obviously apply to both heads, and then hit the enter and bring it back where it will seal off. So it means that the print head will still be soaking in a solution of moisturizing solution, but in the actual channel of the head it'll actually have nothing inside. So basically it's impossible for any ink dry up to happen in this period because there's no ink in there. But as a backup also, we're having it in a solution of moisturizing solution. So you would do that for every single one of the dampers. Put it in a plastic bag. We don't really care if it leaks, but that clamp, if you've got a clamp, it will stop that from leaking any more. If you don't have any clamps on your white, which can be sort of common, we can also do another little trick, which will be to get a zip tie, and you can just kink the line and then put a zip tie around it, and that'll do the same thing as a clamp. I'm just going to do that right this minute, just so you can see exactly what I mean. So if you just do that, you've essentially just clamped the line. So if you just do that to each one, take it out, put it in a little plastic bag, fill the capping station full of fluid, put it back in its position. When you come back, you'll have a completely perfect head to come back to. Now, the important thing is, when you do come back and turn the machine on, it's very important to take the clamp off. Whatever clamps that you've got on. So release the clamps. Then the next thing that you will do is you will pull out your damper. You will then get your syringe. You will then re-syringe these back until you get a flow of ink through, and then you will put those back in. If you don't do that process, you may find that no ink will come through for a little while. So important thing is to unclamp, then use a syringe to bring the ink back to the damper, which will then resupply the head. Then go through maybe 2 or 3 cleans to get the heads re-primed, and away you go. But you won't have any blocked heads if you follow this procedure. Thanks for listening. If you've got any questions, please give us a call.